Frodo Jack the Witch and the Hybrid Hunter here. St. Patrick himself was behind the burning of 180 books. That's only the ones we know about that we can verify that he burned, and he destroyed loads of stuff, and he told loads of lies, and there was all sorts of stuff hidden. There was more than one St. Patrick as well. But here's the reason why. He was working in cahoots with the Tower of the Danann, the Roman Catholic Church, and the Tower of the Danann, Babylon, the whore of Babylon, which are a hidden witches cult. The same that had they were into mystical stuff, and they had supernatural powers. So supernatural powers, like when King James was trying to convert the Bible, he got attacked on the sea by witches, he said, from Scotland. And when the Milesians came to Ireland, they were stabbed in the back, they were murdered on the slide. They were welcomed by the Tower of the Danann, and then when the first chance they got, they killed them. And then we gave them loads of chance, we gave them quarter. Every time we made a deal with them, they broke it. Does it sound familiar when you're dealing with the Irish government and the European Union, who was primarily controlled by Babylon, the Pope and stuff like that? It's the same people. They've been lying to us for all of this time. So what they do is they've hidden all the knowledge of the books. They worship an evil goddess, Ishtar she's been called in the past. Tara, the hill of Ishtar. My ancestors were Malaysian Christians. See, they see themselves as indigenous as long as you disobey God. Why do they, now this is the complicated bit, why do they see themselves as indigenous if you disobey God? And what? Because prior to the fall, man ruled over his wife. Adam was here first. God made Eve. So if you go into what they're teaching you, then you become their creation. You don't walk with God in the spirit of God. One has them in the garden, so they see you as under their authority. They're gods over you because you haven't chosen God to be your God. And God will tell you himself that he made hell for them, not for the fallen spirits, and not for you. So that's why they have authority over you. So when you look at the indigenous rights, the declaration of the UN indigenous rights, they see themselves as indigenous as long as you're not a Christian. And the British Empire was the greatest empire in history, and the most peaceful empire in history, because it spread Christianity, Pro-Testament Christianity, which was taught to the British by my ancestors, the Huguenot tribe, and among others. So we were able to get our power back over them when we were Christian Galatians, Milesians. What's Galatia? In Gaeland, you're in Galatia. The Gauls are in France, the French, Calais, my ancestor was Callahan. And you have all of these links to Ireland. They've hidden all that. That's why they burnt the books, because they didn't want us to know. There's two tribes in Ireland. There's the Godmen who done the 1916 revolution, human sacrifice to Ishtar, trying to bring about a satanic pagan worship state where they rule over you as gods. The Irish government get away with everything as long as they pay fines to the Europeans. The Europeans have no power over them. The Irish government and authority is for breaking rules as long as it suits them, and what they do is they pay a fine. The money's not coming out of their pocket, it's coming out of the Milesians. They drive us abroad, they don't build any new cities, they throw us out on the streets, they bring in their allies and give them loads of euros, they bribe everybody. They're never going to change. You have to see them for what they are in order to be able to combat them, to combat that tyranny, their injustice. They were murderers from the start, just like it says about Satan in the Bible. This is exactly what you're dealing with. They're here in Britain, the Council of Nations. What's a council? When you go into a council and you're an indigenous Gael or white Anglo-Saxon or Celtic, Anglo-Saxon, whatever you are, when you go into them councils, they don't want nothing to do with you. They won't help you out, especially if you're, why? Because you're Milesian, that's why. They're against you. They only help to bring in foreigners to destroy your way of life and your culture. They can't help themselves.